Hello everyone, I'm Santiago, and today I'm gonna be testing Burnout Paradise Remastered on the GeForce GTX 750 Ti. I'll be doing 1080p, 1440p and 4K. To skip none of those sections of the video, check the timestamps down in the description. So first of all, I'll show you 1080p using the maximum settings and 4x MSAA, and that's more than enough to maintain 60 frames per second all the time. Then for 1440p and 4K, I overclocked the GTX 750 Ti. I added 200 MHz to the core and 400 MHz to the VRAM. So on 1080p there's no overclock, and on the other two resolutions there is. At 1440p I did the same thing as on 1080p, but I turned off anti-aliasing, so we have no anti-aliasing, the rest just maxed out, and we stay at 60 frames per second pretty much all the time. Sometimes when there's a lot of effects on screen, usually when you're not in control of the game, there might be a drop into the mid 50s, but that's usually a rare occurrence. And finally at 4K, in order to maintain 60 frames per second, I lowered the environment mapping and shadows to medium, and I completely turned off anti-aliasing and SSAO, and so far that was enough to maintain 60 frames per second. But once again, when there's a takedown or something like that where the camera goes away from the player, you're not in control of the game, it can usually drop below 60. Not a big deal in my opinion, again, you're not in control of the game in those instances. You'll notice across all my videos testing this game that I'm using the G4560. Well, that's because this game is very old, it's not CPU bound, we are GPU bound all the time, so it doesn't make a difference if you have an i3 8100, an i5 8400, a Ryzen 5 1600, whatever. This game is capped at 60 frames per second, so you won't have more of a stress on the CPU no matter what you do, unless you're able to unlock the frame rate. So yeah, if you have something better than a G4560, you'll just have the same results as me in this video. I'll be targeting 60 frames per second, since that's the frame rate on the consoles, and the game is capped at 60 frames per second. I couldn't go over 60, and so far if you want better performance, which this game is not really that demanding, I would recommend lowering SSAO, which is the ambient occlusion. Just turn that option off and you get a good FPS boost. And then the other two options that I recommend lowering are environment mapping and shadows. By just lowering those one step below, it should be a noticeable FPS boost. But again, this game is not really that demanding. It's a decade-old game with some extra effects on top of it. So maybe you need that information if you have a 750 Ti and want to do 1440p or 4K. Other than that, if you have a modern GPU, the game should maintain 60 frames per second over 1080p, no problem, up to a certain point, of course. And well, so far the differences between this and the original version for PC, according to a Digital Foundry video I saw, where they did a very awesome analysis, linked down in the description if you want to check it out. They say that the shadows have higher resolutions and filtering, we get a stronger SSAO solution, and the effects on screen, for example when a car is burning a tire or something like that, or when sparks show up, there's just more particles, so those effects are just more noticeable, I would say. But again, just follow the link down in the description for that video if you want a detailed comparison between the old version and this one. Personally, I don't think that it's worth just buying this if you already own the previous version. Yeah, it's an improvement to the graphics, but it's not a huge difference, at least in my opinion, to justify buying the game again. At least if you already own this game on Origin, you should have a 75% off discount. So if you're still interested in buying this remastered, you can buy it with a big discount. And if you're an Origin Access subscriber, you should be able to play this game just fine. That's why I'm getting early access to this game. I'm an Origin Access subscriber, so I was able to play the game 4 days before release on PC. This was released on consoles back in February 2018, so it took a while to arrive to PC, but it's finally here. Not sure why they took so long to do so, and the DLC that wasn't released for PC is now in this version, which is awesome to see. It was missing from the previous version, some of the DLC, but yeah guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you keep enjoying the video, thanks for watching and see you next time.
this road rage on your current license, so this will be just a practice run. When you get your next license, you can try it again for another win. I never lived anywhere with so many broken bridges as Paradise City. While the Civic Works Department is sitting on its big fat can, you guys can use those same bridges to catch some wicked air. I even saw some guy barrel rolling off the First Street Bridge. Sensational. And it's all on Crash FM. beaten this road rage on your current license, so this will be just a practice run. When you get your next license, you can try it again for another win. Hit the e-brake to spin your car. Great if you miss a turn, but there's plenty more you can do with it.